Right now, Todd Blanche is holding his first press conference since being Senate confirmed as Attorney General. And item number one on his priority list, he's announcing a takedown of what the DOJ calls a Chinese national marriage fraud scheme. That is what America's top cop wants to focus on after a grueling confirmation fueled by scrutiny over his handling of the Epstein files, a concern over being a rubber stamp for his boss. Congressman Robert Garcia joins me now. He is the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, this is what Blanche wants to talk to the American people about in his first week on the job?
I mean, completely ridiculous. There's no question that Todd Blanche is to continue playing the role of Donald Trump's personal lawyer, which he's done now, for many years and will continue to do so. And it's really a shame that Republicans didn't have the spine to stand up to someone that was unqualified to serve, who has led the Epstein White House cover-up, that was involved in the weaponization fund that Donald Trump wanted to use to pay out traitors and insurrectionists across this country. And Todd Blanche will continue to do the bidding of the president, not of the Department of Justice, not of the rule of law. I think that's what's really, at this moment, quite just incredibly, I think, frustrating for the American public, is you're seeing someone now that is going to do exactly what Donald Trump wants. And look, you're talking about this press conference that we just saw the memo that Todd Blanche put out that essentially wants to give Donald Trump even more executive powers and privilege, to give him an opportunity to continue to lie, to mislead the American public in the activities of the White House. So we've got to watch Todd Blanche like a hawk, and we're continuing to demand that he comes in front of the Oversight Committee in a public hearing and answer questions about the Epstein investigation.
Tomorrow, the DOJ has to tell a judge why it isn't complying with the judge's orders to unredact and release more of the Epstein files. A judge is having trouble getting compliance. Your committee has had trouble getting this administration to comply. If you do take back the majority in November, does that change the equation?
It changes it completely. I mean, look, number one, we will have full subpoena power, which right now, of course, only Republicans have. And we have forced some really good subpoena votes on them, which they've had to go along with. But we will have full power to subpoena. We'll have the power to hold hearings, public hearings. Alicia, there have been 0 public hearings on the Epstein investigation in the U.S. Oversight Committee. 0. So we will actually be able to have real public hearings and putting witnesses under oath. It's important, folks, to know that in all of the different depositions and interviews that Republicans have had, a vast majority, they have chosen to not put witnesses under oath, which we think is outrageous. So to bring people in that were in Epstein's orbit, that were in Donald Trump's orbit, and not put them under oath to answer questions, I mean, this is a cover-up. This is the White House directing a cover-up, including folks like J.D. Vance and Susie Wiles and Todd Blanche, who are having these secret meetings in the Situation Room to talk about the Epstein files. And finally, as it relates to Mr. Blanche, he still has to release half of the files. Half of the files have not been released. Half of the evidence has not been released to the Congress and to the public. So there is a lot to demand here, and he has to come in front of the committee.
Congressman, just yesterday, an SDNY judge granted federal prosecutors' motion to release more files from Virginia Giuffre's case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Your sense, how critical is it for that information to be released? And what, if anything, will it mean for any chance Maxwell has to get pardoned?
Well, look, I actually think that as much transparency we can get is so good for this case and so important for the survivors. Look, Ghislaine Maxwell is a monster, and it's Todd Blanche who directed and knows all of why she got moved to this less secure facility, why she got all these special privileges. I mean, his responses on the Ghislaine Maxwell transfer have been incredibly inadequate. They've been disrespectful to the survivors. He has not agreed to really meet with them in a forum that he can actually listen to their full concerns. And so all of this goes back to what is the White House hiding on the Ghislaine Maxwell transfer, on the possible pardon that has not been ruled out, by the way, by the president or Todd Blanche. I mean, it's crazy that the consideration of a pardon and somehow protecting Donald Trump by using Ghislaine Maxwell has been talked about. We know in the reporting from the Situation Room, they directly talked about Ghislaine Maxwell and how they could use her to protect Donald Trump. And so we're going to have to continue to push aggressively and keep the story top of mind for the American public. The Epstein investigation is the most bipartisan thing in the country. Democrats and Republicans agree that there is a cover-up, and they want truth and justice for the survivors.
Congressman Robert Garcia, as always, thank you for your time.